Unshackled: How Society's Throwaway People Are Rewriting America's Story. Imagine being 17 years old, the age when most of us were choosing prom outfits or filling out college applications. Now imagine that instead of planning your future, you're being sentenced to 18 years in prison. 18 years. A life sentence disguised as a number. This was reality for Princess Lampkin. At an age when most teenagers are just beginning to understand who they are, Princess was told exactly who society thought she would be forever: a felon, a criminal, someone unworthy of second chances. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Princess, and I want to tell you, her story isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. It's a direct challenge to one of America's most destructive beliefs: that people who have been incarcerated are permanently defined by their worst mistakes. Princess isn't just surviving after incarceration. She's thriving, leading, and transforming communities. She embodies the truth that human potential cannot be contained by prison walls or suffocated by societal labels. When we talk about second chances in America, we often speak in comfortable platitudes. Everyone deserves another opportunity. People can change. These statements roll off our tongues easily, but our systems, our hiring practices, our housing policies tell a completely different story. The reality? We've created a permanent underclass of nearly 70 million Americans with criminal records. We've normalized the idea that a single mistake, often made during youth, often influenced by circumstances beyond one's control, should limit a person's potential for the rest of their life. This isn't just wrong, it's a moral catastrophe. It's a waste of human potential on a scale that should shock us into action. You can't do anything as a felon. That's the message hammered into people like Princess from the moment they enter the system. It's on job applications, housing forms, and loan documents. It's whispered in interviews and shouted in policy. It's a label designed to follow you, define you, and limit you. But here's where Princess's story becomes truly extraordinary. She refused to accept this narrative. What makes her journey remarkable isn't just that she survived her sentence, it's that she transformed during it. Through sheer determination, unwavering faith, and profound self love, Princess demonstrated that society's limitations are just that: society's, not hers. This insight isn't just powerful for formerly incarcerated individuals, it speaks to anyone who has ever been labeled, categorized, or dismissed based on their worst mistake or most difficult circumstance. It speaks to the fundamental human capacity for growth, change, and reinvention. From my conversation with Princess, three critical insights emerged that can transform not just individual lives, but our collective approach to human potential. First, your past does not define your potential. Princess's experience demonstrates that no matter what labels society places on you, whether felon, ex convict, or any other limiting designation, you have the agency and power to rewrite your own story. Forgiveness of self and embracing one's purpose are foundational steps toward building an abundant life. The second insight: goal setting is essential for transformation. Even in environments designed to crush hope, having clear goals can guide decisions and fuel resilience through adversity. For Princess, completing her education and staying out of the system became North Stars that oriented her choices even on the darkest days. And third, perhaps most powerfully, community uplift starts with self love. By encouraging others and living with love, Princess models how healing yourself enables you to uplift those around you. This ripple effect is vital for breaking cycles of limitation. especially within communities facing systemic barriers. These aren't just beautiful theories, they're being proven in remarkable ways across the country by women who, like Princess, refuse to be defined by their past circumstances. Consider Susan Burton. After losing her son to police violence, Susan cycled in and out of prison for nearly 2 decades, trapped in addiction and grief. The system offered punishment, not healing. Each time she was released, the doors of opportunity slammed shut in her face. But Susan's story didn't end there. Upon her final release, she accessed treatment services that had been unavailable during her sentences. She began to heal. And then, this is the part that should humble all of us. She turned around and created what she herself had needed. Susan founded a New Way of Life Reentry Project in Los Angeles, an organization that has helped over 1,000 women rebuild their lives after incarceration. Through housing support, legal aid, education access, and job training, Susan created a model that has been replicated nationwide. She received CNN hero recognition not because she's an exception, but because she proved the rule. Given the right support, transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Or consider Brittany K. Barnett, whose mother was incarcerated when Brittany was young. The trauma of that separation could have defined her. Instead, it fueled her. Brittany became an attorney and founded Girls Embracing Mothers, GIM, an organization dedicated to breaking the cycles caused by maternal incarceration. The statistics are heartbreaking. Children separated from incarcerated mothers face significant trauma, with Black girls disproportionately affected. GEM provides regular visitation programs and mentorship focused on healing these relationships. The results? Stronger family bonds, daughters gaining confidence and academic motivation, a disruption of the intergenerational harm that our prison system perpetuates. And then there's Topeka K. Sam, who founded the Ladies of Hope Ministries after serving federal time herself. LOHM addresses the barriers faced upon reentry, including the brutal employment discrimination against formerly incarcerated women, especially Black women, through transitional housing, entrepreneurial training, and policy advocacy. Topeka has helped hundreds find stable jobs and housing. Today, Topeka advises lawmakers on justice reform based on her lived expertise. She's been recognized as both an Obama Foundation Fellow and a Soros Justice Fellow. She's expanded LOHM chapters nationwide. Why? Because she understood that the systems failing women like her weren't inevitable. They were designed, which means they can be redesigned. What these women, Princess, Susan, Brittany, and Topeka, demonstrate is that our conventional wisdom about human potential after incarceration isn't just slightly off, it's fundamentally, catastrophically wrong. We've been operating under a flawed assumption that a person's worst mistake permanently defines their capacity for contribution, growth, and transformation. This assumption doesn't just hurt individuals, it hurts all of us. It wastes human potential on a massive scale. It perpetuates cycles of poverty and incarceration. It denies our communities the gifts, talents, and contributions of millions of people. Think about it this way: would you want to be forever defined by your worst day, by your biggest mistake, by your most difficult circumstance? Of course not, yet our society routinely does this to people with criminal records, particularly Black women, who face the double burden of racial and gender discrimination alongside the stigma of incarceration. The truth is that human potential is remarkably resilient. Given the right support, resources, and opportunity, people can transform their lives in ways that defy all expectations. Princess Lampkin's journey from a 17-year-old facing an 18-year sentence to a woman of purpose and impact illustrates this truth in the most powerful way. But here's where we need to be honest. Individual determination, while essential, isn't enough. The systems and structures that perpetuate stigma and create barriers to reentry must also change. When nearly 1 in 3 American adults has a criminal record, we cannot afford to discard the potential of so many people. This isn't just about compassion, though that would be reason enough. It's about pragmatism. It's about recognizing that our communities are stronger when everyone can contribute their gifts. It's about acknowledging that redemption and transformation aren't just possible, they happen every day despite the obstacles we place in their way. So, where do we go from here? At the individual level, Princess's journey offers a powerful template: forgiveness of self, clear goal setting, and a commitment to self love that radiates outward to others. These practices can transform lives even in the most challenging circumstances. At the systemic level, we need to examine and dismantle the barriers that prevent formerly incarcerated people from rebuilding their lives. This means ban the box initiatives that remove criminal history questions from job applications. It means expanding access to education and housing. It means investing in reentry programs that provide comprehensive support. But perhaps most fundamentally, it means changing our narrative about human potential. It means rejecting the idea that any person can be reduced to a single label or defined by their worst mistake. I want to leave you with this challenge. Look around your community, your workplace, your circle of influence. Who have you written off? Whose potential have you dismissed because of their past? What talents are lying dormant because society has decided certain people don't deserve second chances? Now imagine what would happen if we unleash that potential. If we recognize that the people we've labeled as problems might actually hold solutions. If we understood that those who have experienced our broken systems firsthand might be the very ones who can help us fix them. This isn't just about what princess and women like her can become despite their past. It's about what our society can become when we stop throwing away people's potential. It's about creating a world where redemption isn't the exception, it's the expectation. The next time you hear someone say, once a criminal, always a criminal, I want you to think of Princess Lampkin. I want you to remember that labels only have the power we give them. And I want you to ask yourself, what would happen if we built a society that believed in people's capacity to change as much as it believed in their capacity to fail? Because when we unlock human potential, we don't just transform individual lives, we transform our world.